actually wanted to, I guess, do a video response to you in regards to an email or a message that you left from me to me, I should say, regarding a previous video that I did. It was in regards to, I think, Queen Mifama. You know, there was some information that I wanted to actually relay to her about issues regarding relationships, that sort of thing. And I recall I sent you an email because you went on the page and actually looked at the video and I guess made your observations and such, and you actually wanted to respond, and you did that by sending me a message here, and I actually sent a comment back to you, excuse me, regarding your observations from that video based on what you told me. Now, the email that you sent to me, it was very long, to say the least. But again, I mean, like I say, since you weren't disrespectful or anything in that way, I mean, I do appreciate civility. I'll go ahead and actually try my best to respond to you in like kind. Now, what I'm going to have to do is that I don't even know how to actually attack this because, again, this email was quite long. So what I was going to have to do is I'm going to have to actually segment this and actually respond to this in different segments, you know, for the most part, because with this all of this information, to be honest with you, I mean, I really didn't read the entire email, so I guess I'll just be going on for the most part and just reading and basically responding as I read. I mean, if that's okay. But again, I don't know, for whatever reason, but you have like a very strong vested interest in these type of subjects. I don't know if you're in a interracial relationship or that sort of thing. I mean, really, that's none of my business. But I mean, if so, then of course that would explain the interest. But I mean, again, you know, we here on YouTube, you can talk about anything you want. The only thing that I actually ask that you do is keep it civil and be respectful, which is something that you have done. So, you know, because you've done that, I'll go ahead and respond to this the best way I know how. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and read at least part of the first paragraph here in your response to what I'm saying, and again, and I'll just play it by ear and go from from there. Okay, your first response to me in this email, it says here that some black men seem to think black women don't have options, and I really don't know why, because I am starting to see younger black women date interracially and enjoy themselves despite how black men try to tell black women no one wants them and how everything is their fault. Okay. One thing about it is that, again, people can tell you anything. It's what you choose to believe. And again, and even to piggyback off of that, not to try to sound funny or insulting, but again, and you've seen it, I don't know if if you don't want to admit to it or not, for the most part, black women are the last pick. They're the least desirable. I mean, there's nothing that I can say about it. There's nothing that I can do about it. That's just the way that the chips fall. Again, I mean, you have to just, be prepared to accept that. Now, again, I'm not saying that, me personally, I'm not saying that black women don't have options, because they have options just like black men have options. You have options to seek out who you want to be with, who you think will complement you the best. You have to do what you have to do because that is your option. You're trying to seek companionship, not the black man. So again, you have to do what you got to do as far as, seeking out who you think is the most compatible to you. Because again, when it comes to dating or whatever, it doesn't matter what we black men may think. It's about what you want. Okay, so we have to kind of keep that in perspective. It says here, you said, again, you're starting to see younger black women date interracially and enjoying themselves. For the most part, and I'm not trying to sound insulting when I say this, and please don't actually take it that way, but most of the time, and I'm not saying that that's the case with you or anybody else, but most of the time, whenever you see a black or a intermingled relationship, yes, it can be true love where the man actually pursued the woman. But for the most part, and the sad part these days, is that most of the black women, I'm not saying all, but most black women tend to run to a white man to justify the fact that, hey, I can do better. But the fact about it is that the white man is not, in the most part, not even checking for them. They're actually running behind them, and they're hoping that the white man will actually give them a chance. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to sound insulting or funny. I mean, I'm just only giving you the raw truth, for the most part. Again, that doesn't apply to all black women, only most of them. They, go through this issue with the black man. Okay, fine, we can't get along, or whatever the case may be. Next thing you know, okay, you left the black man alone. Now you're trying to find someone, to try to, I guess, make yourself feel better. Someone who you can parade around and say, okay, you didn't want me, so guess what? Look at who I got. And see, the main thing about it, again, and you have to understand something, is that the the your thought process will actually be shown in who you choose. And see, one thing about it, you have a lot of black women who are heartbroken, who feel that they got something to prove, who want to go and say, you know what? You think that you got over on me? I'm going to show you that I can do better than you. And that's fine if that's the attitude that you want to have. But when they go and get these white men, they actually don't even stop there. They go and parade these men around, bring them around the black man that they've been at war with, especially if they have a child by them. God help us all. And next thing you know, they want to sit there and parade the white man in front of their faces. And next thing you know, the white man already know what the deal is too. He's not stupid, okay? He's going to play along with the game long enough until he gets what he wants from you. And next thing you know, chances are that relationship may not even last. Not saying that's the case with all relationships, but in some cases, that is the truth. You have an agenda to run to the white man, okay? Because for some reason you can't get along with your black man for whatever reason. You're going to get a white man thinking that the grass is going to be greener on the other side. The white man, he'll sit there and play your game for a little while. I mean, deep down, you will only know how the relationship actually got started. Because like I say, from what I've seen, and it actually breaks my heart, it's the fact that the black woman is running behind a white man, and it's up to the white man to choose whether or not he wants to choose you. I mean, again, if he wants, if he's horny and wants to, I guess, get down or whatever, sure, he'll go ahead and pimp you out or whatever. I mean, like I say, you have to call it like you see it. I mean, you can get angry or upset, but hey, this is my channel. I can say what I want to say. But see, my thing about it is that you have to understand and look at the reasons why this is going on. There is more to it than just going to seek somebody else out who happens to be more compatible with you. You have to look at the justifications and the reason why you're doing it. In most cases, you have to call it like you see it. They're running behind a white man, and the white man is actually making his choice as to whether or not he want to be with her. In other words, she's not choosing him. He's choosing her, if he wants to be with her. All right? So I'm going to move on to the next issue and the next comment. Let me see here. This email is just so long. Oh, my goodness, you must have just you really had a lot to. Okay, it says, even if black men have more options than women, black women should never feel that they are at the mercy of black men, nor black men use their options or desirability of other races to validate themselves or feel because if they are better than black women, because it makes them look inferior, and it is not a competition of who can date out more. And like I say, you have a point there. I cannot argue with that. But again, you have to look at how the dynamics of this thing. Again, and we've seen it time and time again, and it's not the fact that somebody has drilled it in their heads. It's fact. Black women are the least desirable. I don't know the reason why. I mean, I can't answer that. I mean, I'm not going to even get into that deep of a discussion because, I mean, to do that, we would be filling out videos back and forth, and I mean, I don't really have the time to do that. But you have to look at the racial gender dynamics of what's going on here. Black men do have more options, and the thing about it is that look at how much more options if they have when they have money in their pockets. I mean, sad to say, most black men will go and opt for the white woman or a woman other than any other woman that happens to not be black, because they don't want to deal with the drama that comes along with it. The first thing, I mean, and I did a video back, I think it was like not too long ago, where we was talking about, or actually I was trying to dissect the definition of what a good black man, what does it mean to be a good black man, something along that line. And I don't know if you actually had the chance to listen to that video. If you didn't, I would suggest that you do, because there's a lot of good information in that video. But the thing about it is that when a black man is down and out, you rarely see a sister in this day and time. You may have had this done where a sister may stick with the black man back in the 70s and everything like that, because it was just a struggle for both genders just to be black and to make it in the world. But now in this day and time, with feminism and everything else, when you see a black man down trying to make it, for the most part, you got a lot of bougie sisters out there. I mean, not all of them, but you have a lot of them that will not even stick in there and hang in there with the black man. I mean, so like I say, I mean, what type of loyalty are you showing to them? Why should they actually overlook all of that and still be loyal to you when you already have your, your opinions and your, I should say, requirements on what the black man should be according to you? You have a black man here that's scuffling, trying to make ends meet, trying to make a life for himself, and if he have children, I mean, that's even a bigger burden. But the only thing that the black woman, for the most part, is looking at is how much money he has in his pockets. He's not looking at the fact that he has to go and argue with the white man on his job, have to sit there and go through all this type of stuff, turn around, come home, and then get into round two with his woman. All because he's not bringing in anything in the house. And it's these same catty women that are sitting up there that's not even bringing anything to the table except for their bodies. And see, that's, to me, that's where, you know, the issue starts right there. Okay? You have a lot of these women these days that are they are so fixated on how much money a fella got. And see, they're not even looking at that. They haven't even looked past the man's pocket to see what else this man has to offer. And see, one thing about it, that once this fella, the same one who is actually struggling, once God opens a door where he's able to go out and actually do better things and do, you know, and do a lot more in life, then the sister want to turn around and sit there and wants to apologize and act like everything is okay and all things supposed to be wiped and clean and everything. No, it doesn't. In my case, no, it doesn't work that way with me. I'm not saying that I'm perfect or anything like that, but you have to look at the situation for what it is. You know, women sometimes, they can be so materialistic. Most of them, yes, they can be so materialistic. And see, that lets me know right there that it wasn't all about the guy in the beginning. It was all about what he has. I guarantee you, if you want to see a woman's worth, let a woman stay with a man who happens to have everything, and the minute that he loses something or has, you know, an issue in life where, you know, he's not at the financial status of where he used to be, and watch the attitude of the woman. That will determine whether or not you have a quote-unquote good woman. A good woman will stand by the man regardless of whatever financial situations may come, whether or not he's rolling in dough or whether or not he's out there trying to scuffle to make ends meet. If that woman adopts the attitude, you know what, I don't need this, you know, I can do better and everything, and go out, that lets you know that she was not meant for you to be. She's not really meant to be with you anyway. She's not even worth even chasing to try to get her to stay. Because again, the way I look at it is that if a person gonna stay if they want to stay, if they're gonna go, my option and my motto, let them go. Because the last thing I would want to do is to let that person stay with me and make me miserable. Okay, so again, the way I see it is that let financial trials and everything come in there. If she stands by your side and stays with you through the thick and thin, that lets you know you got a good woman, and you better not let her go. If she wants to go and find somebody else who is quote unquote more on her level, then you know what? That lets you know you had nothing more than a gold digger to begin with. Okay, and I'm going to leave it at that. But the issue about black men having more options than black women, you know, like I say, it is what it is. I can't change that. That's what it is in society. You can't change that. Like I say, I never said anything or actually gave the notion that to make you feel that black women are at the mercy of men. Because again, like I say, women have choices just like men. If they can go and make choices and do things all on their own, okay? So, you know, don't even try to bring that portion up to me stating that, you know, that I'm trying to make it seem like, you know, that black women, you know, are at the mercy of black men. I cannot make a woman feel any way that she wants. I can tell somebody something all day. I can tell a black woman, you know what, you're at my feet all, you know, you got to do what I say, you're at my feet. But it's up to her to accept that. I can tell you anything you want or anything I want. But again, it's not going to become a reality unless she decides to give into it and actually interact and actually fall under what I tell her to do. I mean, it's up to her to sit there and take that on as truth. If she doesn't want to, she'll rebel and she'll do whatever she got to do. If she feels that I'm right, then you know what? She will bow down to my feet. That's just the way that it goes. The power of words. My goodness, what an issue. Okay, let me see. I'm going to have to skim around a little bit because, again, you have a lot to say in here. Okay, let me see. You said black men think because some of them have more options than black women, because they can date interracially more than that must mean they have less issues with black women who has to be fixed. First of all, I mean, everybody has issues. I mean, there is no gender on here that doesn't have issues where, you know, that are completely tailored to them. I mean, like I say, just because a man chooses to date interracially does not mean that he has less issues. That is not what I'm saying. If that's what you're inferring, then you know what, that's totally on you. But all I'm saying is that, again, the reason why men choose to date interracially. And like I said, you can refer back to the email that I sent you before you sent me this one, you know, and actually look at my other videos again, you know, to come to see why I came to that conclusion. Like I say, it's not a secret as to what the reason why most black men are dating, you know, interracially. Like I say, again, a lot of them, you know, they may look at it the same way. You know, the screen can be flipped. They can look at it also too to sit there and say, you know what, I feel I can do better, and they may use that as a way of antagonizing black women. I mean, not all black men are like that, but you have some black men that are just as childish like that, you know. So, but to them, like I say, the same thing will happen in that relationship that'll happen with the black woman who's doing the same thing to the black man. It won't last because eventually the truth is going to come out. Somebody's going to get tired of being used, and then both parties are going to be exposed for who they are. I mean, like I say, my issue is that if you don't go and seek companionship for the right reason, and it's only because of financial or because you're trying to get back at somebody, whether it be a black man or a black woman, you should look for the situation or the relationship not to last. That's just the way that it is. That's the way the ball rolls. There's nothing you can do about that because you don't go and actually mess with or actually interfere with someone's feelings just for self-gain. And like I say, I see a lot of black women that do that. They're not even really concerned at the fact that he's a white man. It's the fact that they got somebody who the black man, who they're thinking the black man never thought would be interested in her. So it's like, okay, fine, you got him. Okay, now that you got him, I'll still be here when that relationship doesn't last. Because again, if it's built on a lie, it will not last. That's all I'm going to say on that. Okay, now let me see here. You say here, let me see. My goodness here, I just don't even know. It says, all right, let me go ahead and go to the next paragraph. It says here, you said, I can't agree with you at all. Black women want masculine men, okay, who do not have mannerisms or vocal patterns of white males. Okay, I already gave you my justification as to the reason why, in my opinion, most professional black women want thugs. And like I say, you know, that's just my personal opinion. It doesn't mean that I'm right or wrong. I never asked for you to agree or disagree with me. I'm just actually asking for you to understand my point of view. Like I say, I mean, I really could care less whether or not you agree with me. I'm not asking for your approval. I'm just saying here that in my opinion, that's the reason why I think that most professional black women want thugs. It's because they feel that they have the quote-unquote power to keep them in check. That's what I'm saying. And the reason why they would do that is because they would constantly remind the brother, the less educated brother, okay, who is actually pulling the strings in the relationship, who's the breadwinner. And then, of course, they go into other things with the education and money and all this other type of stuff. To me, like I say, that is the weakest way to try to keep somebody in check. That lets me know that they don't have anything else other than that. Good luck with that. You said a lot of corporate black men tend to be emasculated and take on the whole persona of a white man. Okay, I don't understand where that particular statement comes from. You said that a lot of corporate black men tend to be emasculated. Okay, one thing about it is that, you know, emasculation of the black man, that happened all the way back in slavery time. I mean, even though it does happen now, see, one thing about it, I can't speak for other corporate black men. But see, with me, I don't feel that I'm being emasculated at all. I go to work, I do my job just like everybody else, and like I say, I go home and handle my business at home. Yeah, I don't feel any way of actually taking on a persona of a white man. I don't understand where you got that from, and honestly, I'm trying to understand your thought process on how you would perceive that most educated professional black men would take on the persona of a white man. Because again, most of them, like I say, you know, with the way race relations is going on these days, if anything, we're still trying to really keep our identities and keep it separate from the white man. There's in no way, shape, or form you would have to, I guess, in a sense, give me some evidence of that, because I don't even know where that came from. It seems like that came out of left field. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, it says here, that is not safe or appealing to black women as a whole. Most successful black women want a successful black man who is not emasculated but who is intelligent. Like I say, you have intelligent brothers out there, but the sad part about it is that black women are not, professional black women, for the most part, are not checking for them. What we supposed to do, sit there with our arms out, hoping and praying that you will somehow come to your senses to see, hey, you got an educated brother here that really wants to get to know you? It's like you want us to sit there and beg and beg and beg for you to be with us. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not that way. Like I say, if I step to you or whatever and you know, and try to get to know you and you turn me down, hey, there is no love lost. I take it as this. You weren't interested in me. Maybe it was something about me that you didn't like. And I can accept that and move on. Because I know that once I move on, there's going to be somebody better out there for me. I'm not going to sit there and beg and plead for a successful black woman to want me. Where is my self-respect? Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Where would my self-respect be? Like I say, the issue again is there's not the fact that there is no intelligent black men. It's the fact that the successful black women, for the most part, are looking in the wrong places for a man. That's what I'm talking about. You have a lot of them that go to clubs and everything like that, go out to these little gatherings and stuff like that. Now, see, one thing about it, I'm going to educate you on something. If you want to find a good, intelligent black man, go to areas where they are. See, one thing about it, most women, these women that I'm talking about, these trifling black women who call themselves educated, they always go out with their girls to the clubs and stuff like that, knowing the type of people that these type of events attract. You're wanting to sit there and get a diamond out of a rough. I mean, come on, how are you going to get a diamond out of trash? Nothing against the clubs or anything, but just generally speaking, you want to go in there and get an intelligent, decent-looking man, but look at the place and the areas where you're going to try to find one. Okay, it's like I don't understand. It's like you want the whole world to cater to you, and it's not going to happen. I don't know what fairy tale land you're living in, but it's not going to happen. Okay, like I say, if you want to have an intelligent black man, you have to go to the areas where they are. Okay, some of them, yeah, they'll pursue you. I mean, some of them that really want to know you, they'll pursue you. But for the most part, you know, most educated black men, they're wising up. They're not even sitting up there and really giving you the second and third chance because they already know, and they already filled you out before they even step to you. See, I'm gonna tell you how a black man thinks. For the most part, you best believe. But before we step to you, unless they are horny and just want to have sex, we're gonna research you first. I'm talking about for the educated black man's perspective. I'm not talking about these thugs and everything like that. For the educational black man, we're going to research you first and see what you're all about. I mean, like I say, most of us, we may have friends or whatever that may have a friend, that may know a friend, that may know that person who may, know her or whatever. And they're going to ask questions to figure out and get a feel of who you are, that sort of thing. So before they even step to you, they'll already have their game tight and in order and know a little bit about you. Okay, so that lets you know, okay, I'm not just coming up to you with nothing, with a blank plate, so to speak, not really knowing what I'm talking about. I'm going to come to you knowing, okay, if I research you a little bit and try to figure out who and what you're all about. So, again, that can be a conversation starter. See, that's what I'm saying. That's what most educated black men would do. These thugs that most of these successful black women go for, they like that thug appeal, their swagger and everything like that, thinking that stuff is cute. But next thing you know, they already knew what they were getting themselves into when they got the fella. And then when they go and get knocked up and have babies, then they want to sit there and say that all black men are no good. No, look at the piss poor quality men that you chose. So again, look at the point there. Look at the fact that it's not all about the black man. It's about your choices too, because a man ain't going to go no further than what the black woman let. I mean, I don't understand. A lot of these things that you're saying here is ridiculous to me today. Most successful black women want successful black men who is not emasculated. I don't consider myself emasculated. Like I say, you must talking about those thugs out there that must have something to try to prove to show their self-worth and what they can offer to a relationship, which is not going to be much. I can tell you that right now. But an intelligent black man, they have plenty to offer. It's the fact that you don't want to sit there and really get to know the black man as much as the black man really want to get to know you before you shut him down. Asking all of these materialistic questions like how much money he has, what type of car he drives, how big his feet is. All of these ridiculous things that really does not even define a man at all. That's the reason right there. You're looking in the wrong places to try to validate what you want. And you want this super, I guess, this knight in shiny armor to come out of, the darkness to come and sweep you off your feet. I don't know what cartoon you were listening to or who you were listening to or what you were trying to accomplish, but life doesn't roll that way. It doesn't. Okay, I'm going to go into your next point. You say corporate black men, not all, okay, because, okay, there are exceptions to the rule. You said corporate black men, in many cases, or in some ways, may have to change their mannerisms to feel less threatening to white corporate, and in doing so, they change. I don't understand where this is coming from. You're saying that corporate black men have to change who they are in order to feel less threatening to a corporate white man. First of all, like I say, me personally, I really could care less whether or not corporate America accepts me, because first of all, I have value within myself. I'm not going to change how I do my job just to make a white man feel, like I make a white man feel like I'm a part of the department. I came with my own unique set of skills, my own college degree, and like I say, whether or not you want to choose to recognize it, I had to get it doing it my way. And I'm not going to change who I am just to appease a white man. And I'm going to let you know that right now. Okay, you're saying here that we have to change who we are, change our mannerisms to feel less threatening. Like I say, you got a lot of white men, most white men, they are threatened by black men. My thing about it, and I'm glad that you brought this up, white men, for the most part, they are going to be threatened. You want to know why they're going to be threatened? Because they're still living in this same stereotype that black people are ignorant. They are uneducated, and they don't know how to conduct themselves in a professional manner. But see, they're the ones that's threatened by us, because we are not going to change. And the thing about it, again, they see here that black folks are getting degrees and actually surpassing them in many areas in life. They are the ones that's feeling threatened. So I don't know where you're getting that information from. I don't have to feel threatened by nobody, especially with my educational background or whatever the case might be, because nobody will be able to take that away from me. I earned that. They did not give me anything. And I'm not going to change who I am just to feel like I'm a part of their group or their clique. I could care less. I can be in a department and I can work independently while everybody else work on the other side of the room, because I know what I can offer and I know I can get the job done. Sometimes it's better that I do work independently, because for the most part, somebody may try to do something to mess me up. So I don't even know, again, where that came from. You say that they feel that, I guess in some ways they have to change their mannerism. I'm not changing anything, because like I said, either you accept me or just let me go about my merry way. I don't know. You may have some people in there that are insecure, who who don't really feel that they can actually deliver a good job, who may try to conform to white America to try to get the job done. But I'm not going to do that, because I was never instructed to. I was never told that I had to, because that would be selling out. That would not be me doing the work. It would be someone else who happens to look like me doing the work. Again, I have a college degree. Okay, nobody was there to submit those long papers. Nobody was there to help me to look for the job when I got my degree. And nobody was there to, only the person that was there to help me is the good Lord above. And he never told me to be in fear of anybody. And he never told me that I had to change to conform to what a white man may want me to be, so I can be liked by them. I could care less about how they think about me. All right, continuing on with this here. You're saying here, black women do not feel connected or comfortable around black men who take on the ideology, culture, mannerism, and vocal patterns of white men. Well, I have to disagree with that, because, again, and you said it's not about education or success. You have some white men that actually do that, are attracted to black men who happen to, quote-unquote, speak white. I've seen it all the time. I live in a neighborhood, where you have a lot of IR couples, interracial couples, dating and everything like that. I have a lot of, associates and everything who happen to be black, but who speak in a pitch or a vocal pattern that is not typical of black folk. And for some reason, most black women, well, some of the black women in this area, they seem to be drawn to that. They like it. To each his own. I mean, like I say, a lot of people may sit there and think, okay, I don't even talk like the typical black person or thug. Like I say, what does that mean anyway? English is English. Okay, so, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like I say, a person's going to be drawn to you regardless. I mean, like I say, eventually they'll look past your words and see what you're all about, how you carry yourself. They'll use that as a determining factor to figure out whether or not they want to invest time with you. Like I say, I mean, you're all over the place with this, and I'm trying to get where you're coming from here. So just help me out here. It says here, if a black man does not have his aura that he is a king and will not have to change or bend to the white man or assimilate, then he will have a hard time with black women as a whole. If a black man does not have his aura that he is a king and will not have to change or bend to a white man or assimilate, then he will have a hard time with black women. Where does that apply with this? I'm not getting your thought process with this. You're saying here that if I don't understand, from what you're saying here, I really don't. I'm trying to understand. Do you have like a hang up or something? I mean, do you have something? Some sort of an issue. I mean, it's like you're so quick to bend over, and at least it seems to me like you are all about, and there's nothing wrong with this, and please don't take this the wrong way, but it's like you're all about white men. I mean, like I say, and if that's the case, that's fine. You love who you love. I mean, like I say, it's all about being happy with who you are, but it's like you have an inferiority to white men. At least that's the way that I look at it. Because everything that you're doing thus far, you're comparing a black man to a white man and making it seem as if the white man is a lot better than the black man. There is neither one is better than the other. We're all equal. I don't understand. It's like you have a superiority complex to a black man, but you're inferior to a white man. That's the way that I look at it. And I don't understand where you got that from. I mean, I don't know if that was taught or ingrained into you or, you know, that sort of thing. But a lot of the stuff that you're saying thus far, it seems that way. I've talked to many females actually here on YouTube that actually adapt that same type of ideology and mentality, you know, where they look down on black men, but yet still they will bend over and actually give the utmost respect to white men. And see, those type of people, they really are very perplexed and really make it very challenging to conversate with, because everything that comes out of their mind, out of their mouths, is anti-black man. And those type of people, you know, they're kind of hard to deal with, because it's like they're jumping all over the place, making up things and trying to make it seem as if black men are the problem, when it's not even that way. The reason why the black culture is going in the issues, and the reason why the black man can't get along with the black woman, is because of issues that they're bringing in. They're bringing in other outside influences to try to, I guess, validate who they are and why they are doing what they're doing. You can do whatever you want to do. Don't come and bring a white man up in my face. I don't have anything to do with white people. I love them because God requires that I love them. But other than that, I mean, what else do you want me to do? The way you look at it, again, is that black men have a lot of problems. We do. Just like you black women have a lot of problems. But don't sit there and say it's because the black man, if you know, don't sit there and actually iron out and bring out black man problems like white men don't have them either. Because you just don't know. You are being used by them as well. And the sad part about it is that the truth won't come out until one person gets tired of the foolishness and the lying, and next thing you know, the truth will be exposed. All right. Now, let's see here. It says, black men who are successful do have more options, and let's face the fact, they are taught to seek black women as an inferior group of women. Based on whose philosophy are you getting that from? You said, yeah, successful black men have more options, and like I said, and you're saying that they are taught to seek black women as an inferior. I don't understand who. I mean, not me. I can't speak for what other black men are being taught, but like I said, that was never taught in my household. Not from my parents. Like I said, when I went through school and everything, getting my college degree and everything, I was never taught to look at black women as being inferior. Like I say, there's nothing more attractive to me than a woman who actually has her own, you know, that can actually go out there and make things happen on her own without being able to depend on a man. But that doesn't mean that I think that she's inferior. I mean, like I say, I look at it this way: we are both all on an equal playing field. Like I said, yeah, the Bible teaches that, you know, the woman is the lesser of the two, the man is the head and everything like that. You have a point there. But again, I don't look at that, looking at the fact that a woman does not have any self-worth in a relationship where I can't listen to her and listen to her thoughts and opinions about that, even in the workplace. Like I say, because again, you know, it takes the efforts of both genders to get something done. There may be something that a woman may be good at as far as in the workplace than I could be. And vice versa, there's something that I could be good at than she would, you know, to get something done. I mean, like I say, biblically speaking, you have a point, but that is not always the case, not in corporate America. It says here, so why would they choose black women as wives when they have the options to have others? Well, I guess with that, you have to go back, I guess, to what the traditional role is and how we were actually taught, for the most part, in black households when we were growing up. You know, in most Christian households, I mean, well, I should say in most black households, you know, we are being taught, you know, in most black men, I'm speaking from the male standpoint, they're being taught to raise, you know, to go out there and have a family. Not only have a family, but have a good, strong black family. Because that's pretty much what the mantra is like keeping the family name, you know, traditions and everything like that. They want their son, you know, to go out there and marry a successful black woman, you know, but yet still, you know, as they grow up and they start to really go out there and see what society is all about and how the behaviors and everything and how the dynamics is changing, they choose someone else. I mean, for whatever reason. Like I say, even though a parent would tell their young child, their young boy or their young son, when you get older, choose a good black woman. It's still going to be his choice, even though we are taught as young folks or young men, young boys or what have you, that that would be the right thing to do. We still have our own lives to live. Yeah, mama and daddy taught us that that would be the clear thing to do. But as you see, the social dynamic is changing. The racial dynamic is changing. There is no more pure black families anymore because there's so much going on where, I should say, there is so much intermingling going on where people really don't want to stay with their own kind. They feel that they may have more in common with somebody who happens to be of a different race. And I mean, like I say, and you can't fault them for that. Just like white women. I mean, like black women. I'm pretty sure their fathers tell their daughters, okay, you're going to, I want you to grow up to be a strong black mother, have black children and everything like this, and next thing you know, she feels that her place is not with a black man. She wants to actually go out there and find herself anybody else, any other man who happens to be non-black. So, I mean, again, you have a point there. I can't really argue against that. But again, there's always instances where that could be a bit questionable. So it says here, why would meaning black men, choose black women as wives when they have other options? You would have to actually go and ask those specific black men because everybody is different. Like I say, what's true for one doesn't mean that it's true for everybody. It says here, you said black men don't, and those that do, you said black men don't have those options. Love black women and want the best select. Wait a minute, maybe I was reading this wrong. It says black men who don't have those options love black women and want the best selection of beautiful black women they can get. Well, I say this. When you have a black man that actually marries a black woman, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have any options, okay? We have to just get that straight out and clear. It's all about what he wants. Most black men, the educated ones, as I keep saying, they may go out and actually may have dated someone interracially, may have gone out and maybe during college years, may have even slept around with a couple of them. And they actually came to the determination that that's not what they want. Just like you have black women who ultimately end up marrying a black man. They may have dated in the past, Puerto Ricans, Irish, all these other type of people who happen to be non-black for the most part, and they ultimately end up marrying a black man. Just because I'm black, that does not mean that I have to choose a black woman. Just like a woman is black, that doesn't mean that she has to choose a black man. This is America, okay? Just because I have some melanin in my skin that happens to identify me as being black, that does not mean that my ultimate destination happens to be a black person just because I don't have any options. I'm sorry to tell you, that is something that has to do with the state of mind. Because I can easily turn down a black woman and go out there and find somebody else who happens to be non-black. That's a state of mind. Just because I'm black, that does not mean that I have to stay purely black. I'm sorry, when slavery happened, our race was pretty much already diluted when we came over here because, again, with the raping and everything else that's going on. Like I say, we sometimes can say things and be so ignorant about some of the things that we say that it really doesn't make much sense. But just because I'm black, that does not mean that my partner, who I choose to spend my lifetime with, has to be black as well. Okay, you also went on to say, I have experienced this, that when a black man is broke and has nothing going for himself, they chase and desire an intelligent, attractive, well-spoken black woman. Well, for those that do have low self-esteem, I guess you do have a point. But see, again, that is not the true rule for every black man who happens to be, broke and down and out. Again, everybody handles situations differently. That may be true for the majority of black men. Okay, like I say, you have some of them that that may be broke or whatever, and they may be just looking for someone to be to take care of them. And the sad part about it, again, is that you have these black women who will go and do that. And next thing you know, they go and nurture them and take care of them. And then next thing you know, the fella done got up on his feet. Next thing you know, he want to go out there and start pimping and see what else is out there. All she doesn't even realize that she was just being used. I mean, come on, let's keep it real. She was just being used. The fella she went out there, okay, he chased her. She liked, and most of the time, and I'm not saying that it's true for every case, but most of the time, those who are out there who are broke or whatever happen to be thug who don't even know how to go out there and actually make a decent living. They're just living from post to post. They find someone who actually has money because, remember, they scoped out and actually researched you a little bit. They done figured out what you all about, figured you got something, and they go up there and turn on that little swag. Next thing you know, the black woman, for the most part, she done fell for it. Now she's moved him in her house. And if she got kids, she's got them around there exposed to her children. Her children don't even know nothing about the fella. She just want him because she don't want to be by herself. She gets him up on his feet. He's starting to look, trying to get himself together and everything, starting to look like a decent human being again. Next thing you know, that fella's not going to stay there, because look at how you got him. He was a player when you got him, and you think that just because you took him in or whatever that he's going to stay? I mean, yeah, there are exceptions to the rule, but come on, just think about this overall. He's going to go out there and try to figure out, okay, if I got this woman to do this for me, maybe I can get someone else who may have a little bit more, who may got a little bit more going for themselves, and who definitely doesn't have any children. Come on. Let's keep it real. I mean, you came to me with this, so I'm just giving it back to you. It's the black woman that's sitting up there, and next thing you know, she's the one that's left with the bag in her hand. Because the black fella done came there and used her. He done got what he really wanted. He wanted to actually get on his feet. Get a little bit of money in his pocket, because chances are he may have whispered sweet nothings to her and she fell for it. So she's going to actually not only give up her self-worth, she's going to go and dig into her pocketbook to go and maybe even give him access to her money, because they do. And next thing you know, she's left with the bag. And now she wants to sit there and cry the mantra, oh, there's no good black men, and all this other type of stuff. Well, look at your choices. Look at where you got, look at what you did. It's time to take self-inventory of your own actions and see what you did to cause this. And next thing you know, your children who are being in that household, they're going to be raised up with the mantra that there's no good black men. Why? Because mommy said so. Look at what the man did to mommy. But they don't even understand that mommy, look at the thought process of what mommy was doing. Where's the self-respect? Come on. Now, you said here, black men need to own up that there are several black men who do not pass up black women. Okay, they have a few bad relationships with black women and give up on all. Okay, you have a point. You have some black men that may, pursue black relationship with a black woman after black woman after black woman, and next thing you know, they come to the conclusion, you know what? I don't really want to be with a black woman. It isn't the fact that they gave up, it's just the fact that they're just tired of the games. And for the most part, black women, for the most part, they play a lot of games. And like I say, we get tired of it, just like everything else. I mean, what we supposed to do, sit there and take it all? My God, we are already being, crucified. I mean, being emasculated, not only in slavery, but now we're being emasculated in these days with the constant rejects that we get. We're talking about jobs and everything else. And now you want us to sit there and take on all of that and then turn around and take on your games that you're playing? Come on, that doesn't happen. At least not with me, it's not going to. I can't speak for all these other men, but with me, that's not going to happen. It says, whereas they can have several bad relationships with white women and judge white women as individuals, but judge black women as a whole. You have some black men that are on here that are infamous for doing that here on YouTube. Like I say, it's like they respect white women. Like I say, and they don't talk as harshly about white women as they do black women. I don't know why that is. I don't know the psychology of that, but the thing about it is that it's childish, and it sends a bad message to the community about the state of black relationships. Like I say, I'm not going to sit there and actually say too much about that, because, again, I see that happening all the time. Like I say, there are improvements that can be done on both genders, both the black man and the black woman. Okay, so to sit there and actually focus on one and actually make it seem like as if that one is totally, I guess, wrong or ignorant, to me that's foul. Because again, a white woman has the same whorish, same, lecherous ways that a black woman can have. But the only difference with that is that she's actually more undercover with hers, at least in my opinion. The ways are still there. The evilness is still there. The treachery, the trickery, the lying and everything, it's still there, but it's not more on the surface than it is with a black woman. They do theirs more undercover. But again, it's still there. All right. It says here, any intelligent, and this is what you're saying, of course. You say any intelligent adult should be able to reason and know not every black woman plays game. And you're right. Again, that's what I'm saying. Most intelligent black men. I'm not saying all black men. That's why I say in most of my posts with you, I always clarify and make sure that I say that most black men. Again, like I say, yeah, they are able to reason and see that, that not every black woman plays games. And again, you said that not every black man is broke and doesn't want to work. True, I can't argue with that. So if an individual decides to label a group his or her entire race based on a few experiences, that is a weakness they have that they are using as an excuse. Well, that could be. But again, you don't know what that person may have experienced in their past to make them think that way. Not to say that it's wrong or right, but you have to look past what a person says and look a little bit deeper. A lot of the people that I've ran across, a lot of the black men that I ran across who videos I frequent here on YouTube, who always talk and bash black women, they come to find out they've been hurt by black women. In college, maybe during their adolescence growing up, they, put themselves out there, and next thing you know, they were rejected black women. I mean, like I say, and the sad part about it, it all boils down to them being hurt. So sometimes I don't really listen much to what the words per se on what they say in their videos, because a lot of the stuff they say, it can be, for the most part, they go off on a tangent and just start saying hurtful, demeaning things just for the fact of actually trying to get back at somebody, and the reason being is that they feel that they're hurt inside. And a lot of times, with those type of people, I really don't co-sign on a lot of stuff that they say, even though the majority of what they say is true. You have to look deeper again at what they're saying and the reason and their place on why they're actually saying what it is. Because again, half of the time, the reason why they're saying what they're saying is because, again, they're trying to cover up. And you're right, they offer an excuse because they don't want to go out and admit to the world, the YouTube community, that they were hurt by somebody who they actually put themselves out there for. They put their vulnerabilities on the line, and next thing you know, they were done in. So they actually feel like in order to get back at, black women, for the most part, they go and paint all black women as being, doggish and whorish and wanting to play games and all this other type of stuff, not wanting to take responsibilities for their actions. A lot of stuff that they're saying, I'm not going to disagree. A lot of stuff they're saying is quite on point. But my issue is that after I sat there and seen that, now I'm going to go ahead and research and look at other videos to give me a clue as to why you're actually saying all of this. None of this stuff happens overnight. Nobody comes up with the notion that black women are no good. Nobody actually says, okay, all of a sudden it pops in their brain, black women, are no good. I'm going to go to a white woman. There has to be something that actually triggered them to think that way. That's the reason why. That's the type of methodology or my ideology or my thought process that I use when I listen at a video. I don't just listen at one of those videos from that particular person. I listen at other videos that they may have done and see if I can see a pattern of what's going on as to why they are feeling that way. And when I put two and two together, because I'm not a dummy, I know how to think, I can pretty much come up with the fact, because generally with all their rambling, they're going to eventually tell on themselves. And I've time and time again seen it lots of times in black videos that are done by black men. And it all boils down to the fact that they were hurt by a black woman for whatever reason. But I'm like, in order, for them to get over it and move on, they have to be able to deal with this in a proper manner and be able to hit the issue and deal with the issue head on without actually trying to taint the views of other black men. Because I love black women. I love them. I mean, I just do. But one thing about it that I'm not going to put up with any of their games. Just like I'm pretty sure a lot of black women will say, they love black men. And they're not going to put up with any of their games either. So, like I say, that's my take on that. You brought up another thing here, and it's getting close to this email, to the end part at least. It said here, there are black men who are so hate-filled and bitter towards black women, even when he is faced and in the presence of a beautiful black woman, he will degrade and try to diminish her worth because of his insecurities and bitterness, just because she is black. Going back to what I just previously said. Maybe he was hurt or in the past, and basically he was not able to get over that hurt, and his only outlet to get over that, not that it's right, is to bash black women. Like I say, again, YouTube has become a ground, like a platform for people that have issues with the other gender. And the sad part about it is that YouTube is not what it used to be when it first came on the scene. But, it's starting to turn into verbal insults where, people can just post up anything. And pretty much people will actually co-sign on it just because of drama. And like I say, I'm not that way. Drama is one of the main things that I try to steer away from because, again, it doesn't really add any positivity to the situation at hand. All it does is creates a false impression and actually, again, taints a sad picture of what somebody else perceives another gender to be. Like I say, I come up with my own conclusions. I don't sit there and rely on anything what anybody tells me regarding why a black man chooses to be with a black woman. A black man chooses to be with a white woman. You know what I'm trying to say. I go and I research and I look at the trends of what's going on in society. And I even may go and ask a couple of people who I may know who happens to be in an interracial relationship to try to get their take on the situation before I go and post a video. The sad part these days is that we as black folks, we don't do that. We don't take the time to research and figure out what's going on before we post. We just post based on emotion. And the thing about it is that you have these simple idiots that can't even put two syllables together that will come on there and actually give thumbs up just because of the fact that someone actually is angry and delivering verbal insults. I mean, I'm over that. I mean, like I say, yeah, it was entertaining, but now it's turning into a sad issue. And all, again, it's doing is just telling America that black folks cannot get along. And it's a sad thing, when you have, when you ask somebody what is the only race on America that seems to have so many issues, hands down, it's black. Because we have something to prove, because we were hurt. And we don't really want to come out and let America know what the real issue is. And yeah, it may be insecurities and everything like you mentioned. But like I say, I think we would be a lot better off if we actually attack the main issue as opposed to dancing around the issue and delivering insults. Okay? It says here, let's see here. So you can try to justify why educated black men bypass black women, but these black men are bigots and racist. And it says here, these men will reap what they sow, and many of them are. The same for women as well. And you're right. The same attitude and the same, thing that you're saying that what's going to happen to the black man is no different from the black woman. That's why I try to deliver and be a neutral party. But like I say, I don't ignore what trends I see going on in both genders. I will say that for sure. Because again, no gender is better than the other. Each one of them has their own set of hang-ups and issues. Even though it may be different, they're still issues nonetheless. All right? It says here, in closing up, it says here, I see more black men not working and living off women than I see black men taking care of their families. Well, again, I think I addressed this earlier in this post. The reason why they're living off of black women is because the black women are allowing them to. Like I say, you have to put the responsibility where it is. That's not to say that the man is not, he knows what he's doing is wrong. But one thing about it is that a man is very strategic. Okay? Again, anytime that we can spot a weakness in a woman, those who are actually out to really deliver an insult and really are coming from a bad place, they're going to actually go in and actually, how can I put this? They're going to actually go in and try to attack that weakness, I should put. They're going to do everything they can to get the most out of that weakness of that woman that they can. And after they've reached that, they're going to go ahead and toss her to the side and move on to the next person. Just like a cigarette. Puff, puff, pass. Come on. That's why you cannot sit there and say, for the most part, look at this picture. Look at where you're going to see these people. Again, a woman has the ability to think. Come on. An educated black woman can think just like an educated black man. Now, if you got I can see now if you had a man where you met him, he was doing good or whatever, and you were in a relationship, committed relationship, and he happens to fall on hard times, but see, one thing about it is that you already knew that these type of things would happen, because again, nothing is guaranteed in life. But I'm just talking about from the sad fact of that a woman just meeting a black man, and next thing you know, you met him, he didn't have much, so then you sit there and adopt on yourself that you want to quote-unquote change who they are by accepting them around your families and your children, and next thing you know, you're trying to, buying him clothes and all this other type of stuff, and and you already see that the more that you do, you feed into the fact that he's not going to want to do for himself, and next thing you know this, and you sit there and allow him to continue to sponge off of you, and next thing you know, when he up and leaves, you want to sit there and blame everybody. I'm sorry, buddy, but you're going to have to blame yourself on that one. I'm not going to co-sign on that one at all. Again, because I'll go ahead and still say a man is not going to go any farther than what the woman allows. If she sits there and spends her money, just like a man will feed a hungry dog, the dog is going to stay as long as you are there feeding him. The same thing with a woman. The man is going to stay around as long as you're foolish enough to go into your pockets to provide for him. Now, if you're married or in a committed relationship, that's different because you go in knowing that things like that can happen. Life happens. But what I'm talking about is the fact that you don't have any connections with this fella. You just met him through a mutual friend, or, you know, he happened to walk up to you with swag and you fell for it, and now you are all goo-goo and gaga over the guy. Come on. And then you want to sit there and say, you know what, he doesn't have an initiative. Well, you knew that when you met him. So who's being played? Who is the fool? In that situation, the man is actually being quite smart. You are the one that's being foolish. I'm sorry, but I had to say it like that. I'm not trying to be funny, but you have to call it like you see it. Now, you say here, now as a young, attractive, no kids, in shape, well-spoken black woman, I could use this as a reason to exclude black men from my dating pool. And you know what? You have to go out there and do what's best for you. You have your own list of requirements and expectations as far as what you look to see in a man. And like I say, I have nothing to do with that. That is your personal preference. It says here, but you say, and it would look like a legitimate excuse. But I know that every black man is not like that, nor would I pass up a decent black man because of stereotypes. What would that say about me, that I never wanted a black man to begin with? If you desire a black woman or a black man, that is what you will get. Point blank, period. Well, like I say, I didn't disagree with anything that you said. For the most part, yes, this was a long email, and like I say, I didn't go through every single point that you had because, I mean, that's just too time consuming. So I only highlighted certain areas, you know, that I felt that I really wanted to actually brush up on and really give further clarification. But again, you got to understand something. Again, people date who they want to date for whatever reasons they want to do it. Like I say, you know, you have some people that use a piss poor excuse. They were heartbroken, so they're running to someone else. But see, my thing about it is that the reason why you're actually seeing a spike, in my opinion, in interracial dating is because people are not willing to go back and really work out the issues that's causing them to run away from each other. Okay, you got some people, again, that have been hurt. Yeah, you know, they don't want to experience the hurt, so they go to the other side thinking that it's going to be a lot better. But see, my thing about it is that even though you may want to go on the other side, you still have to deal with that issue that happened with that black woman, and you may have to do that through the white woman that you're with. The same thing with a black woman going to a white man. The same attributes that the black man had that the woman did not like that was in that black man, she's going to see it again in the white man, because men are men. It's the only difference is that the skin color happens to be different. Okay, a man on average, if he's not going to stay with you, I mean, like I say, what you got to understand is the dynamics of this whole thing. Yes, you're talking about black and white, but what's underneath is what it is. For instance, black men and white men, they're both men. Yeah, they may come from different socio-economical backgrounds and everything like that. They may, you know, they may speak different languages and stuff like that. Their swagger may be a bit different or whatever. But in the end, they're all out for the same thing. And that is to get what they want. And next thing you know, deliver the insults later. Just like I stated in the previous video or the previous email that I sent to you. So again, you know, I appreciate your long email. But a lot of the things that you said, I kind of found it a bit questionable, I guess you can say. That's why I wanted to actually take the time out and spread this video out, because I was not going to sit there and type a long message to you. I mean, like I say, I appreciate your response, and I'm pretty sure that I'll get a response from this, but I just want you to understand where I'm coming from with this, because again, to me, it looks like you have such a complete disdain for black men, but yet still you will bow down and have the utmost respect for white men. If that's the case, you know what? That's your issue. That's your problem. That's an issue that you have to deal with. And if that's the case, you cannot blame a black man for that particular ideology or mentality, because that is something that you developed on your own. Okay, so you have a good day and be blessed. Talk to you later.